Hello, everyone. How is everyone doing? Hope you're doing all well. So, I'd like to welcome everyone who is a member of INS, that is ICHNISAN. ICHNISAN is Australia's first multilingual fieldwork based think tank, conveying dialogue on significant yet suppressed issues. We aim to convene dialogue on issues and neglected areas that are affecting people and communities. It is a platform for scholarly, fact-driven, yet humanistic and reality-driven discussions, analysis, and solutions. I would also like to welcome all the extended family of the Indian Students Club at La Trobe University under the current leadership of Sanjeet Konda House. Thank you for welcoming me to speak on the occasion of Teachers' Day in India. Now, in India, Teachers' Day is celebrated annually on September 5th, and today is September 5th. To mark the birthday, would you like to guess whose birthday is it celebrated for? The birthday of country's former president, a scholar, a philosopher, and Bharat Ratna awardee Dr. Radhakrishnan, who was born on this day in 1988. Is it? No, it's 1888. In 1888. Wow, that's long ago. The significance of this day is ever evolving, including taking lessons from the life, from the teachers you needed to shape you into whom you have become. For school students in India, the day also means fun time, getting roses, chocolates, gifts, including handmade cards to profess your affection for your favorite teachers. For senior students, Teachers' Day is one of a role reversal. Senior students celebrate it a bit differently compared to the junior students. So it is for them. It is more about the story behind Teachers' Day. That's the day when Dr. Radhakrishnan took to the office of the second president of India in 1962. Now, when this happened, his students actually approached him to seek permission to celebrate that particular day, September 5th, as a special day. Dr. Radhakrishnan instead made a request of them to observe September 5th as a Teachers' Day. That's so nice of him, to recognize the contribution of all teachers in the society. So Teachers' Day is now celebrated across schools, colleges, universities, and educational institutions across India. And luckily, our Indian students, even overseas, are taking the initiative of celebrating this particular day beyond India. So that is a wonderful thing. Now, this year, unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the schools are shut and the celebrations will be given a miss across many institutions in India, even in Australia, for that matter. However, virtual wishes, virtual greetings are always a perfect way to tell your teachers that you remember them now and you always will. So I hope all of you have contacted your teachers today. Give them a call. Tell them about the contribution they had in your life. They'll really feel nice. And this goes to teachers who have also retired. Just this morning, my mother was contacting her teachers who are well over 80 years of age. Some are even in their 90s, and just having a chat with them, how they made a difference, how they impacted her life. So I today have been invited on this wonderful occasion to speak about my experiences as an academic, and also how some of us academics have been coping with the COVID-19 times. Guys, I really truly feel humbled while addressing the members of INS and LISC, that is La Trobe Indian Students Club, because this day is dedicated to all teachers across India. I would like to introduce myself. I'll give everyone a little bit about my background, especially my teaching background. So till date, I have lectured an estimated 11,000 students across 120 nationalities in business, management, international relations, marketing, human resources, and of course, my favorite, economics. Apart from in-class education in those particular mentioned fields, I've also been a karate teacher. I've trained an estimated 3,500 people across 55 nationalities in karate, kickboxing, full contact, combat, military, hand-to-hand, self-defense, everything. Okay, so I'm also the winner of LTSU Academic of the Year in 2018, and for the last 4 years, for each and every semester, so that is 8 semesters in a row, I have been appreciated and acknowledged by my department for my constant high teaching ratings that are given by the students. I've also produced a series of teaching and learning videos which were published by the Trobe Business School and were viewed by more than 12,000 undergraduate and postgraduate business students. I also produce YouTube lectures in Hindi, Marathi, and English because these are the languages I speak fluently. I wish I could speak other languages fluently, but if I start speaking in those, it'll be a fun session rather than an educational session. So I've produced these videos in the fields of economics and business management. In the past, I have been appointed also as a working member to collaborate on projects and strategies for La Trobe University's academic board, academic quality committee, and also international strategy committee. Besides, I have also been certified by Babson College. I hope everyone who is in the field of entrepreneurship and innovation knows Babson College in the US for innovative teaching methods. And I've also been certified by AMES for teaching methods and approaches for students of a refugee background. I'm also trained and certified as an LI network member for my organization for understanding and supporting the needs of the LGBTIQ community students. So that was my little teaching background. My teaching journey actually began when I was just 13 years old. That was through my karate grandmaster who would allow me to and encourage me to conduct weekly karate classes. This continued at various platforms at a national level until I was an adult and beyond. At university, I was also a tutor for my peers within the Indian University where I got my first degree. That was in physics. I would also do the same in tutoring my peers. So I was tutoring my peers in CAT, MAT, ZAT, all those entrance exams that I was appearing side by side as well. And then later on at La Trobe University, I've been in Australia for 12 years now. So later at La Trobe University, I was a peer tutor, a peer mentor, and also eventually landed the role in teaching during a casual chat I had with my former professor. So we were having a coffee and my former professor just asked me how was life and what I was up to, and checked out all my, what I had been up to professionally and in studies as well, and simply offered me a role. And I took it up, and there my actual academia teaching journey began, and that was 8 years ago. Now, overall, when it comes to my approach to teaching, it is very simple. This is the age of Google, right? Everyone Googles everything. So in this age of Google, when simply saying that ask me instead of asking Google, I've seen a lot of people write this nowadays, taking pride that, hey, why don't you ask me instead of asking Google? That has become a style statement. A lot of doctors do that as well. Ask a real doctor, don't ask Google. Ask an economist, don't ask Google. So that has become a trend. But I'll tell you what, it doesn't work unless you have more knowledge and faster. You can produce the knowledge faster at an effective rate compared to Google. So Google is your competition. You can't just say ask me instead of asking Google. If you're competing with Google, you got to be better than Google, right? So in fact, I strive, to ensure that my knowledge is at that level that I can successfully and correctly even challenge the results produced by Google. Sometimes students in my class say, but Google has to say this, and I'm like, bring it on, let me have a look. And I have developed myself to that capacity that I can show my students how certain results in Google are actually inaccurate as well. And I feel academics need to have knowledge of that particular level. In this age of Google, the issue is also with the retention of knowledge, as everything is at your fingertips. You can ask your Siri, you can ask different apps on your phone. You can simply ask them nowadays orally, or you can simply look for the results. What has happened is, while everything is at your fingertips and the knowledge is very easily available, the problem is with retention of knowledge. So knowledge is easily available, but it is not retained at a level it should be. And as an academic, my approach is that I convey the concepts in such a way, in an interesting manner, so that it's relevant to the industry, it's relevant to the daily routine of my students as well. It's relevant to the life experiences of my students in a very funny, humorous way, so that the information that is delivered from me is retained. So here I go. When I take on Google, it's not just my knowledge against Google's knowledge. It is also about whose information my students are going to retain. It's not just about being fast. It's about being fast, effective, accurate. It's about being analytical. It's also about presenting yourself in a way that students can retain that information in the long run. After 10 years, I would like to see my students say, Ishan told us something in the classroom. I don't think in 10 years' time my students will say, I Googled something and I got a result. So that should be the aim, of the lecturers as well. Now, if I feel I'm the source of such reliable knowledge, my students would value me more than Google. And any academic could say the same as well. If they are a source of such knowledge, their students will value them more. Okay, you won't really see a challenge faced by a post by Google. You see, as academics, we must realize that one method, does not fit all as well. The concept that just follow one strategy, follow a particular modern teaching style, and it should fit everyone. I disagree with that. I don't feel that one method is going to fit everyone. Having a flexible teaching style is something that I strive to achieve. Some students learn better by listening. Some learn better visually. My way of connecting these two is through a narrative. My lectures are a narration about life experiences. It's about storytelling through which I convey the concepts. I convey the topics, literature, diagrams, graphs, data, calculations, formulae. I convey all of that. I convey the industrial case studies, but through a narrative, like a storytelling class. So one could actually say that my lectures are, a content and literature rich, industrially relevant stand-up comedy show for 2 hours. Well, while it is not difficult to speak like Shashi Tharoor, I also feel that, language, it's also the way you speak. One could definitely speak like Shashi Tharoor, but I believe that my objective is not to impress others with my English skills. Is that the objective? Am I teaching business because I want to show off my English skills? Am I teaching politics and international trade to show off my English skills? Not really. It's to ensure that people understand what I say. After all, good communication is not about the usage of Oxford Dictionary words, but it is using those meaningful words, relevant and accurate, simple words that would create a bridge between different ideas instead of creating walls that show off your own English. So I think that communication part is also very relevant when it comes to lecturers. I also feel being empathetic is crucial while teaching. Now, sadly, many academics fail to practice empathy in their classroom approach. Some students are weak in the application part, some students are weak in the quantitative part, some students are weak in writing skills, some students are weak in their language skills. But you see, all these students have some hidden strengths as well. And that's where we academics should sharpen the skills of those students, to help those students use their strengths to overcome their weaknesses. Always remember, a student who is not fluent in English could be from China, could be from a rural part of India. There could be a student who doesn't have good computer literacy skills. It doesn't mean that these students are any less intelligent than other students who are using gadgets, are speaking English very fluently. Expression could be a challenge and is a challenge for many students. And this is something that we academics should acknowledge and not judge the students. Instead, we should help the students to overcome it, to help them work on their strengths, to overcome those weaknesses in the real world. It could be based on, like I said, expression. It could be English usage as well. Many times, I've also met students asking me to explain the concepts after my class. After I finish my classroom, sometimes students have come up to me and said, can you explain this to us in another language? And many times I do explain the same everything to them all over again in a different language as well. If I of course speak that language, but I think that's something that academics could really go out of the way and help students with, because you don't want to alienate them because they can't understand you. Academics also should not mix they should not mix the necessary communication skills in business and management with English literature writing skills. So what has happened, unfortunately, is with many academics, not all, many, and also with many Western universities, there is a mixture. Universities feel if someone can write in a very brilliant way, that person is intelligent. That's not necessary. You should not mix the necessary communication that is required in business with extremely high level Shakespeare English literature speaking and writing skills. That too shouldn't be mixed up. That's what I genuinely feel as an academic myself. And now see, speaking a bit about virtual learning as well, because that's what's going on right now. There is a difference in what we are facing today. and what is online distance learning. So there is definitely a difference between the two. You see, online learning, the online courses that are planned to be online, they are planned, they are programmed for that particular virtual teaching space. They have the appropriate softwares. They have the relevant hiring procedures. Even the distance teaching staff has a different position dossier, okay, different requirements when they apply for online teaching. Now, these position dossiers are also different for such roles. What we are facing today, it should not be mixed with that. What we are facing today is not just online teaching. Okay, this is emergency remote teaching. This is emergency remote learning. It's not just online teaching. Okay, online teaching classes are everywhere. You can go online even when the restrictions are uplifted. You can do an online class, online course through a university in a different country. That is different. What we are facing today is emergency remote teaching, emergency remote learning. It's different. This emergency situation has required the regular teaching staff, the ones who are skilled in going to the classroom and delivering the content. It has forced them to go online. It has forced the staff who have large families to conduct a disturbance-free class from home. And that is also creating undue stress on their family members to abide by the quality requirements. You have lecturers telling their family members, keep it down, go outside the house. I have a few lecturers I know who sit outside in the backyard in the open air to conduct a class, so there is no disturbance. So this has needed the staff to also upgrade to high quality internet. And this is usually I would say in many organizations there isn't any support by those universities, or there is no support from the government for educational institutions either. So people are expected to change to online teaching. They're expected to be thankful that they still have jobs, and at the same time there is no extra help with regards to the upgradation of internet or creating a space that is good for online teaching. On many occasions, staff have been asked to either ensure that they have a remote working environment set in their homes, or simply not be a part of the teaching team. Now, many managers have been good, many managers have been supportive across the industry, but the support needed for remote learning in Australia from the Australian government has been zero. In such situations where every university is literally losing hundreds of jobs, where staff are taking a voluntary pay cut up to 25%, and there is a burden to establish high quality work environment from home, plus ensuring that students are satisfied with the outcomes, this has put an immense pressure on the teaching staff. The issues faced by teaching staff, again, are different from non-teaching staff, even if you're working for a university, and also different for people in other professions. You see, teaching needs you to be online, not just work online, but to be well presented, to speak continuously to the computer all day long. Teachers cannot just work from home in their pajamas. Teachers cannot be lying on the bed and working on their laptops. They need to create a good ambience as well. So online learning is everywhere, and every field has its own challenges, agreed. But what academics are facing, the teaching academics are facing, is very different. It's a different game altogether, right? Now, I'm very happy from my end that despite all these challenges and with the ongoing online teaching, my ratings have been averaging at 4.7 to 4.8 out of 5, which is well above the school, department, university, or industry average for educational institutions. So that has, and because I've strived and I've gone out of the way to ensure that even when I'm delivering in this remote emergency situation, I'm delivering a particular quality, and that has been necessary. So this is possible because of one word. I'll say once again, why has this been possible? It's because of empathy. Despite the challenges that we academics face, if we academics try to understand what students who are taking our classes virtually are going through, the challenges faced by our students at the other side of the computer, what they feel, what they see, what they think, what they expect from us, it would be easier for us academics to provide a high quality education even in these tough times. After all, we cannot forget what Dr. Radhakrishnan once said, when we think we know, we cease to learn. So on that note, Thank you very much for listening to me, and I wish everyone a happy Teachers' Day in India. I would also like to thank my teachers for all the invaluable teachings throughout my life, and especially the best teachers in my life, my parents, who are the most important important educators for me in my life. So thank you, everyone. Stay safe and be nice to others. So on that note, I will end this particular live session. I hope my fellow community of INS, Ich-Nissan, and also the extended, huge, massive community of La Trobe Indian Students Club enjoyed my little chat, my little talk. I'm always available for all of you. I'm a phone call away. Those of you who don't know my phone call, I'm a message away, email away. So get in touch with me regards to any difficulties, any kind of discussions that you like to engage, or if you like me to speak on any particular topic. So stay safe, be nice, and on that note, goodbye. Take care, everyone.